is a reference to Pastor Glen. Now, I do take offense to that because I do not see Pastor Glen as a turkey at all. I do not. What I see in Pastor Glen, I see him a Viking. A man of courage and strength.
Absolutely.
A man who supports other Vikings in their dirty deeds, their antics, their illegal hits to one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. America's team, ladies and gentlemen, the Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers. How could you? I'm sorry, I digressed. I'd like to get back to the retirement. Okay, folks, you have faces on your tables. Faces of Pastor Glen, and you also have Lee right there. So they can be used for many different ways. Number one, they can be used for if you don't want your neighbor looking at you, put up the face. Number two, if you feel a little hot, use it as a fan. And number three, if anybody's interested in robbing the Chase Bank down there or going to Fry's to get some, walk in with one of their faces. You'll never get caught. So thank you for those who put the face sticks together. We really appreciate that. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I am honored to have been asked to host this. And just remember that, you know, I'm not responsible. They asked me to host this. So if you know my humor, it's going to be a good ride. All right, you ready for the ride? Okay. Well, first of all, Pastor Glen, we're going to share some stories in just a little bit. And maybe a funny story you have with Pastor Glen. Not too long, but we'll pass the mic around a little bit and share some stories. What I'd like to share a story is a true story. I'm from Wisconsin. Thank you. My wife and I moved here in 2001. One of our priorities was we're looking for a church. And now we came from a church in Wisconsin called Mary Queen of Heaven. That's where I went to grade school. It's a Roman Catholic church. Went there all 8 years of my life. And decided we're not looking for a Roman Catholic church. So what we wanted to find was a Lutheran church. My parents recently had converted to and had been Lutherans and loved the church. So we're looking around, searching, and I find one, and I find out that it's in a school. And I was amazed by that because I'm not used to that from where I came from. All our, the Catholic churches are just beautiful churches in Wisconsin. I never knew a church in a school. So my wife and I went, and Pastor Glen at the time, before I knew him, came up to us, welcomed in. We sat back there like, oh, this is nice. I go, the guy's a real welcoming man. I love the service that he presents, and we just had a really nice time there. So I said, I think this might be the place. And I said, especially that they're in a school, they're going to probably need a church later. Maybe we can do something to help out. And then we went back the following week. And Pastor Glen noticed us. And this time he was more inquisitive. What do you guys do? Where are you from? And I said, I'm a performer. I'm an actor. My wife does musicals. And she sings. I don't sing. I just do comedy and drama plays. And he's like, great. He goes, can she head up a women's choir and be in charge of it? And he's like, and then can you do some sketches and make some humor in the church because we really want to pass the word around and really build this congregation. Can you read? We'd also like to have you as a reader. And he said, you play guitar? He goes, would you be interested in starting a band? And we're hearing all of this. And then he is such a nice guy. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh. I am so guilty in saying yes right now, but I can't. That's a lot of stuff on a plate. We just moved. I didn't have a job. And I'm like, oh boy, let me think on this. And then it's like turning down God. I'm like, I see him. I'm like, then the guilt comes in even more. So I said, Pastor Glen, can we please just think about this? And, we'll let you know next week. So we went home and we came back 5 years later. That is the truth, and I hate to say that, but it was. We came home and we're like, I don't know, maybe that's not the place. I don't know if we want to run all these things. I don't know what we should do. And then we never went to a church, and then 5 years later we came to this church. And it was the same guy, and I'm like, I got a story to tell you. I said, I met you years ago, but you kind of scared us off a little bit, but But I'm glad we came back because, you know, it may be a better chance to get to know Pastor Glen better. I so admired his friendliness, his openness, his concern for me and my family. I knew I was real confident that God had sent me here and he was our messenger to help my wife and I. And I'm honored to call him family and his family here too, get to know them. I was honored to be in a play with Lee. I didn't know she was quite an actress, and her and I were up here playing the apostles and having a good time with that. But Pastor Glen, you are a down-to-earth guy, for sure. You're open, and that's inviting to somebody who's coming and looking for a new church. You really make it a community, and you make it a family. So, I would like to make a toast right now, if you could hold up whatever you have. Ladies and gentlemen, a toast to the lamp of true friendship. May it burn brightest in the darkest hours and never flicker in the winds of trial. To Pastor Glen. And now, as I said,
This one means that. Is this where the AA meeting's at?
Why? Would you like to join?
No, I want to resign.
Well, no, this is... Sir, you just walked into a church, and we're having a retirement gathering here for Oh.
What?
I noticed a spur there. Did you lose a spur?
No, I found one.
Okay, well, this is a retirement dinner that we just had done, and for our pastor of the church here.
Who's the pastor?
Oh, here.
Your Eminence.
You don't have to. Here, come on up over here. You don't have to call him. It's not your eminence. You don't have to.
Are you next? Hi, I'm Glen Fiddick, like the booze. What's your name? What? Yeah, that's my name. Glen Fiddick, like the booze. What's your name? Wait, that's the hand I wipe with. What's your name? What? No, that's my name. What is your... Do I have to say it a different way? I'm Glen Fiddick. What's your name?
Mr. Fiddick, his name is Glen, too.
It's a good name.
Right, so that's, I think, where the misconnection
So
was.
what's going on with this guy?
Okay, well, he is the pastor of the church, and he is retiring after... You don't have to keep doing that.
What is he doing?
He's retiring, and after 39 years. And...
Quitter? Can you hear my confession before I leave?
Okay, well, they do that in the Catholic Church. They have confessions.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that lady in the back there was listening to me and taking notes.
Okay.
She was real interested and wanted pictures, too. All right, communion, you gotta do that.
We do communion, we do it.
I brought my own.
Okay.
Thank you much. You're not going to quit, are you? I'm going to go find an AA meeting. Good luck. Don't take nothing on the way out either.
I can take something. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Rob Trigg. He's part of the Early Bird Special, my sketch comedy and improvisation show, and he is a professional actor out at Rawhide. Does that all the time. So, nice of him to come in here and have a little fun with us. All right, as I said before, I'd like to share any, if anybody has any stories I shared at one of my first meetings with Pastor Glen. I have the microphone up here, or I can bring it to you. So, I'd like to open up the floor. Anybody has a short story they'd like to share? I could bring Glenn back. Maybe he has a story. Yes.
I have a cold story.
Okay.
All right. I just want to piggyback on his story. I want to piggyback on his story. The first Sunday we came was an Easter Sunday in 2001. The first time we met Glenn was Easter Sunday 2001 at the school, and he didn't even introduce himself. He came up and said, "What do you do? Where are you from?" He was recruiting us from the minute we met. And then another funny story is we did meet at Patterson School. And one Sunday we got there, it was actually Confirmation Sunday, and we didn't have keys to get in the building. So we had sermon in a sandbox, and it was awesome. The kids were great. They were on the slides and the swings and not paying any attention, but it was a wonderful sermon.
Thank you. All right, anybody else? No other stories? Anybody want to make one up?
At one of the sermons, the pastor was talking about an argument and a fight that him and Lee got in. And it was her fault, his fault, her fault, his fault. He started to tell what the story was, and so naturally, being in the front row, I asked him whose fault it was. And Lee pointed to him right away.
Feel like a talk show here.
I came to this church for quite a while, but it was just, my husband had ALS, so our friends would come here, and then they'd go to early service, and they'd come and let me come to the 10:15 service. I've never in my life had so much love as in this building and these people. And I think that character up there, it gives me the hug every time I see our pastor, his wife, and all this love. I thank you.
He's, and this is the truth, he's actually the only Minnesota Viking fan that I like. No offense to any of you if I don't know. Yes?
I'm a Bronco fan.
Oh, I'm sorry. All right. Anybody else? Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
I really don't do this. But I've known Glenn and his family since 1980. When he came to Greenbush after 2 years out of seminary, got that figured out today. But Glenn has always been there. It's like you run into somebody that you really connect with, Pastor Glenn is the guy. He's been there through all the joy, which is he came when my youngest son was in 7th grade. First thing I ever heard about Glen was they went on a hayride from our place. They went on this hayride, and Russ came home and he said, "Oh, he's really rough." He threw him off, and there was no snow or nothing to fall into but the dirt road. But on the other hand, he helped me get through the death of my husband and my son-in-law. In fact, Glenn and my brother-in-law took over the whole funeral type of organization, which I thank you for, Glenn. But he is one of those people that you can't help but just love. I love that family.
Very nice. Thank you.
Keep smiling and have a wonderful retirement. I remember I had a reversible shoulder done and I had a knee done, And Pastor Glen, thank you every time he was there in the morning to pray before I went into surgery. And every time I listened to his sermons, I used to tell my husband, you think of that sermon all week long. Isn't that the truth?
Yep.
Thank you. Much luck to you.
Anyone else? Yes.
You gotta have a lot of them.
What's your name?
Rusty.
Rusty.
Yeah, I might cry a little bit. Anyways, so when we first came to the church, Pastor Glen came up to my wife and I and introduced himself, and we knew right away that this was going to be our church, and that was just over 13 years ago. And then I think the next day or 2 days later, just like John's story, I got a phone call asking if I wanted to start a youth group.
I think I had that question too.
Yeah, well, I said no. And then he asked me like a year later, I said no again. And then I was hanging out with my friend Mike, and Pastor Glen asked us again, and we said we'd pray about it. And then that very next Saturday, he had to stand up and introduce us as the youth group leaders. So I never did say yes. I've just been here this whole time. Pastor Glen has been a teacher, a mentor, a friend, and a father. And he's helped me through some hard times, and he's celebrated some amazing times with me. Whoever I am today and whoever I will be has a great deal to do with you. So, with God's help, you've done all this. And we're going to keep it going. And we're always going to remember where it started. So thank you, Pastor.
Yes.
After all these years. No, I have to tell you, some of you have heard this story before, but Glen was called by the Synod office to come and interview here. And so we flew out here on a Sunday evening, and we rented a car, and we knew that this is kind of the area where they wanted to plant the church. And we got out here, and I looked, we were at Signal Butte and Baseline. I don't even think the roads were there at the time. And I looked at Glen and I said, oh my gosh, there's nothing here. They want to build a church here? There's not a church here. And so I said to Glen, let's drive back to the airport, get on the next plane back to Minnesota, and pretend like we didn't come here. And Glen said, no, we're going to let them wine and dine us for a few days. We'll have a nice vacation. And then Glen said, and you know what, we'll make a pact right here that no matter what happens, we're not interested. Okay. So we met with the bishop, and he took us all over, and he took us out to the billboard, and I thought, oh my gosh, I've never seen a shopping mall like this. How can it, I've never seen one like this. What kind of place is this? And he took us all over and introduced us to a lot of people, and after 3 days of being here, Glen and I were at the airport, and I turned to Glen and I said, well, I don't know about you, but I'm moving to Arizona. And that was kind of our decision, and Glen said, yeah, even though we had made this pact that we were going to go back to Minnesota, we just immediately, even though we didn't know anybody, it's truly a gift from God, because there is just no way this would have happened without God. Absolutely
no way, at least for us, because this was not something we sought after. It was not something that we campaigned for. It just was there, and it has to be God. It couldn't have been anything else.
I've known Glen for a few years. Back in 1981, I became pastor at Zion Lutheran in Thief River, and Glen was at Green Bush. And we had pastors' conferences every month, and we became good friends. And then when I came down here to Phoenix, lo and behold, Glen had a church not that far away from where I lived, and so I ended up here because of that, obviously. And I know I have a lot of funny stories about Glen. Unfortunately, at my age, I don't remember them. I'm sure there's a lot of good ones there if I could remember. I know we had a lot of funny times. But I remember one thing. We're both very big in sports, Vikings fans, and also NASCAR. And I remember going to NASCAR, and I remember Glen parking, and I remember going by all these empty places that we could have parked in. And I think we ended up 3-4 miles from the actual track. And we kept walking, and we kept walking, and all these empty places where we could have parked. But Glen said, no, this is fine. We could walk. And so we walked to the track. And, well, of course, we didn't buy tickets in the stands. We went to the hillside, where everybody goes. And so not only did we have to walk the track, we had to walk all the way around the track to the opposite side. And I remember thinking, we could have parked a lot closer than this, but we didn't. Then I remember going to a football game. Went to a football game, and of course, we didn't want to pay for parking. And I remember going to the park, and I remember, was it Mindy? I think Mindy and I, yeah. Glen dropped Mindy and I off at the park. And I remember it was, getting to almost halftime. And wondering, what in the heck happened to Glen? And pretty soon, about 2 minutes left in the halftime, here comes Glen staggering up the stairs. And I said, what the heck happened to you? He said, wait to see where the parking is. And so after the game, we started walking, and we started walking, and we started walking. If you know where the football stadium is, we went past, the corner of, what road is that north of the stadium?
The Dome or the...
Glendale? Is it Glendale? Is it Glendale or something? But we got to that corner, and we walked a long ways. He said, well, we only got another about a mile. And so the parking was, I'd say a couple miles from the football stadium. And next time we went to a football game, guess what? We paid for parking.
Yes? I don't know, it's hard to see if you're fanning or if you're looking funny. There you go, ready? Okay. Thanks.
Hi, everybody. If you were here for the church anniversary, I said a little story, but I'm not going to be that long tonight. But I just want to thank Pastor. Sorry. In 2014, I was looking for a church, and I was struggling with a bad marriage at that time. And I didn't know where to go. And I visited this church, and I looked up on the screen, and it said Pastor Glen Stabler. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's a sign, because that was my maiden name, Stabler. So, yes it is. And then I met a wonderful man. He's at a pastor's men's retreat this weekend. But when I met my husband, Blake, we met with Pastor, and Pastor graciously said, if you ever want to marry this guy, I'd be honored. So we were married this past Valentine's Day, February 14th, and I'm just going to miss Lee and Pastor so much. So if you agree with the love I have, everybody pick up your face sticks, okay? Raise them high and say, we love you.
See a Lee Glen, but I love it. Thank you. It's really nice. Appreciate sharing that. Yes.
Pastor Glen, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
This picture of you guys is heavenly and it's great. And it's a beautiful picture of you two. But did you used to be taller?
Come to think of it, I think when I met you, you were about my height. 6 foot. 6 foot? I had to look up.
Ann and I were going to church in Champion. We were making that trip for at least twice a week. And we wanted to find a church that was close to go home. And we didn't even know this church was here. We were so excited when we found it. It was 5 minutes from home, and it was a Lutheran church. So we started coming on Saturday night, and we would still go to Champion on Sunday morning until we finished our commitments there. But I will tell you, I will never forget the first sermon, the first night that we came, and Pastor was talking about the chatting cloud. Remember that, Pastor?
No.
The chatting cloud is something you wouldn't forget.
But anyway, it just drew me in, and I said, that's it. I mean, I saw it on the screen, and it's like, we just knew right away this is what we were looking for, and it was right here in our backyard. So I just want to tell you how much I'm going to miss stories like the chatting cloud and all of your sermons and all of your stories. You will be so missed by so many people. Thank you.
Thank you. How can you not remember the chatting cloud? That sounds fun. Hey, you know what else? What I find amazing? So, when I agreed to come here and host this, they said, okay, but don't, we got to move things along because there's a 5 o'clock service. And I'm like, well, Glen's not doing it, is he? Oh, yeah, he's there. So I'm like, he's this great retirement party. Hey, let's have some fun, let's eat. Now get to work. I was like, what? I love it. That's great. Anybody else? Yes, absolutely. I think this is great, by the way, this ripple effect of what a person can cause in someone's life. Just a ripple of the water. Yeah, you're welcome.
Well, Glenn, I'm going to repeat the one from the beginning. I was a Catholic, then Episcopalian, and then I was looking for a church. And I found out there's different kind of Lutherans. I found out the kind they didn't want to be. So I looked in the Yellow Pages. Now, who looks in the Yellow Pages? I looked in the Yellow Pages and I found Spirit of Hope and no address. It's East Valley Books, so it must be out here somewhere. There was a phone number. Now, I called on a Saturday afternoon. Now, how smart is that? Anyway, I called and left a message that I'm looking for the church and I can't find the address. So as I hang up, I thought, a computer, kid, a computer. Anyway, I looked at the computer, found the address, and came in, and I'm sitting down, and this lady here grabs my arm, and she says, oh, you should start coming to Seniors Rock. I guess I look like a senior. So I went to Seniors Rock, we have ball, anyway, ball. And so as Pastor Glen is passing by, introducing himself to everybody, she grabs Pastor Glen over and says, oh, I got to introduce you to a new member. This is Kit. And he said, oh, yeah, you called me last night on the phone. So he had to chat about that and then brought me up, my name up in the sermon. I can't remember what story. He brought my name up. It was less than a year later, he comes up to me and says, "Do you think you'd like to be on council?" I said, "No." I was on the council of Episcopal Church and I didn't want to do that one again. Well, about 6 months later, he comes back and says, "You sure you don't want to be on council?" And I said, "Well, I guess I will." So I joined. And what did they do? They voted me president. And then all hell broke loose. But it's been such a fantastic experience here. I've been through a lot of health issues this last year, but Pastor Glen and Lee have been there for me, picking up the phone and checking on me, coming over to the rehab centers no matter where I was. I kept changing rehabs. But anyway, they've been there for me, they call, they check, and I will definitely miss that warmth that you've always brought to us. The sermons, I have to tell you, are about the best I have ever heard. So that much I'm definitely going to miss, but we got it recorded. So every time we get that we want to hear him again, we can just go on the internet and listen to his sermons again. So.
And I was thinking of getting the Pastor Glen puppet. So I can come up here and do it in his voice.
There you go. Absolutely.
I know you heard this story before. Back in 1970.
Well, that's my story. We love you guys and going to miss you much.
I just want to say, when Dwayne and I moved here from Wisconsin, we also we were also, you know, first thing we were doing was looking for a church, and I went online, and you know what, there are not a lot of ELCA churches in this area, but we had circled 3 we were going to visit. Well, this one happened to be closest to our house, so we started here. Drove up, it was trunk or treat. So everyone was setting up outside. And that was when they did it on Saturday night after service, right, Wendy? Yes. And so we drove up, got out of the car. Pastor Glen came running out to the car. "Hey, I don't know you. Who are you?" as he does with all new members. And we got to talking, and the church we came from back home had about 3,000 members. So. We said to each other, when we find a church, we're not going to get over-involved. We did. We promised, we made a pact that we weren't going to get over-involved. And then you come from such a large church where, you know, we knew a lot of people, and it was big. And now there's this little church, we're like, I don't know if I want to go to a little church. Anyway, we came, we loved it, never visited another one of those other churches, and we have now, but we were thrilled to become members here, and Glen, you've been a huge part of our lives. Yep. You know you have. And we're so grateful to you for all you've done for us in our faith walk. Thank you.
I know what you mean about the Lutheran churches. I didn't know there were so many of them, and I went to back in Wisconsin with my parents, Jenny and I.
You're on every corner up there.
Well, no, we went to just one, and my mom's like, well, before you go to community, you got to write a note to somebody or other to ask permission. And I said, I'm not going to ask permission to go to community. And my mom's like, well, that's what you need to do, otherwise you can't go. I'm like, watch me. But right there, I told Jenny, I said, that's not the Lutheran church we want to join. Great. Yes, absolutely.
Priscilla and I are new to the church, relatively new, but when you walk in here, there he is. Welcome. It's a family, and he calls himself a Viking stick, but I really think officially Huh.
I'm coming.
I talked by you too.
Well, I saw the man and the ladies first.
Dave and I joined about, 4 years ago maybe? And I'm starting to feel kind of bad because I don't think you've ever asked me to do anything.
Wait a minute. How did she get through the cracks on that? Right, Dwayne?
See me later.
How did that happen?
I don't know. I mean, I thought we had it, but apparently not.
Well, we do Vacation Bible School, and we're looking for someone to. Yeah. Oh, you did? But okay.
Apparently you have to like kids.
Right? I know. There you go.
I can't remember what I was going to say.
I don't know what year it was that Dennis had been retired from a job, from a career. And he was kind of down and out. And Pastor Glen says, well, come to our men's Bible study. I have a man who needs somebody that knows computers. And his name was Dahlman, and he was one of the most spiritual, surviving cancer kind of in his life. And he was one of the best men he ever met. He hired Dennis, gave him a job, and it was because Pastor Glen acted like God and got these two together. And so God led him to lead him to a wonderful job.
Thank you.
Johnny?
Yes. You know what? We might take this time. I had somebody ask me, they're like, who are some of those people up there? So.
I'm Sarah Stadler. I'm Pastor Glen's daughter, older daughter, and I'm a pastor of Grace Lutheran Church in downtown Phoenix. Woo! I know he has one daughter who's a pastor and one daughter who has children. You probably know. So I've known Pastor Glen since 1978. And he baptized me. He confirmed me. He made me go canoeing on the confirmation trip. He threw me off hay racks, for sure. Yeah. He also preached at my wedding, preached at my ordination. When I was probably 5 years old, I would have these very vivid dreams of my dad sitting in our living room, playing guitar, barefoot. And in my dreams, you know how in a dream, like you see something that's real, but you know that it means something else? And I know that in my dream, it was my father, but I knew that it was Jesus. Like I always thought of him as Jesus. Like, because besides being my dad, he was my pastor. And I think that as we celebrate your ministry, this is the office of the pastor, that we become the vessel through which God works, that others might see and know Jesus. And I knew that even when I wasn't able to comprehend the love of God, but I knew it because He loved me. So, thank you.
So as I said, somebody asked me, well, first they said we don't know a lot of people up there, and then they said they don't know me either. So and then someone said, did they hire you? I'm like, no, they didn't hire me. I go to this church, as a Pastor Glen's heard the story, and I'm a school teacher. I teach middle school, and I teach college, and I'm an actor and a storyteller, and that's who I am. Could you guys introduce yourselves to everybody?
I'm Peyton. I'm married. That's how I got it messed up with this whole thing.
So since I have the mic, I guess I'll tell a story too. I've known Glenn since a long time. He's part of our Okoboji group, where they go vacationing. My father is also a pastor, went to seminary with Glenn. And so every summer, we spent a week together at a little tiny town in Iowa called Okoboji. That's also where I met Mindy. So I'm pretty glad those pastors were friends and went on this vacation, otherwise I would never have met my wife. But a funny story about Glenn is at these vacations, we'd always have a kids versus fathers basketball game. And this would kind of evolve over the years, and as we were in high school, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th grade, we continued to have this game. And I know there's a little bit of a height difference between me and Glenn, you might say. Even in high school, I was, I think I've been this tall since about 9th grade. But when we played basketball, Glenn would always guard me, and always. And there's nobody that would be rougher with me than Glenn. Glenn would body me up, he'd push you, he'd block the ball. I swear, he was the hardest one to score on of all the fathers. So I appreciate you for pushing me hard in basketball, that's true. I still scored on him. So he couldn't stop me 100%. But for the size, he gave a lot of fight, we'll just say that. So I think you've been extremely lucky to have him as your pastor. He's never really been my pastor, but he's been my father-in-law, and I appreciate you for that. So congratulations on your retirement.
So if you haven't met me, I'm the youngest daughter, Mindy. I probably met a lot of you, well, just here and there throughout the years. I actually came out, in 1999, so also been a member of this congregation for quite some time. But I'm going to miss coming here and seeing all your faces and feeling the love. So thank you for being a big part of my life. So.
All right, thank you, everybody. And did somebody have... Hello?
I noticed all the cars outside, and I wanted to take some time to...
What did...
Hold this for me, thank you.
What did you just say?
Hi.
What?
Hi.
Hi.
I noticed all the cars outside, and I'm from the church just next door.
Here, come on a second. Come on a second.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay, you can go up there and use
Oh,
that
thank you.
You know, this is a retirement party for Pastor Glenn at this church.
Oh, well, that's all good and fine. I'm just here to talk about the Church of the Latter-day Saints next door.
Okay.
My name's Elder Roberts. I'm from back east. I'm here on my mission, just trying to spread the word. I wanted to give you guys just a little bit of information about the Church of the Latter-day Saints. I like to start by saying a long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, Elder John Smith had a revelation. And for those of us who like daytime TV in the audience, I picture the afterlife a little bit like being on Oprah. You get a planet, you get a planet, you get a planet. Everybody gets a planet. Oh, wouldn't that just be great? Anyway, if any of you guys would like some further information about, maybe changing teams, changing sides, you guys can go ahead and catch me in the lobby. I would be more than happy to help you. I gotta get back and spread some more.
All right. Well, thank you, Elder. And I'm glad you took the opportunity and... Now, I'm going to say, that's actually a Pastor Glen move right there. Oh, I saw the cars and all the people. Come on. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Pablo De Leon from our Early Bird Sketch Comedy and Improvisation Troupe. Give him a round of applause, please. Glenn, I had no idea this was happening. I had no idea. Darn friends of mine. Did somebody want to play before I moved on? Yes, absolutely. Yep. All right, you are? Dwayne, nice to meet you. John.
Actually didn't really plan on talking, but Lee reminded me of a story. A guy was out walking down a country road. He saw this beautiful farm. And it was nestled in a valley. And he walked up and he talked to the farmer and he says, "You've been blessed with this beautiful farm." And the farmer says, "Yes, I have. I thank God every day for this beautiful life that I have." He said, "Well, how else has he blessed you?" And he said, "He blessed me with these beautiful crops. He's blessed me with this beautiful wife and my beautiful children. He's blessed me with so much." The guy said, "Well, you must be very thankful that God has given you all of this." The farmer looked at the guy and he said, "Yeah, you should have seen it before I took it over, though. It was a mess." So even though God gave us this land and God gave us this, it was Pastor Glen that took the mess and created what we have now.
Wow.
You know, he does have to go to work soon, so he's got to prep for that sermon.
My name's Jim, and I just want to say, Pastor Glenn, thank you so much for your style of preaching. We came here off the sandwich board from when you were at Desert Ridge, and when we were shopping for churches, we'd been to a few. And once we came to where you were preaching and stuff, that day was just like, we're not going anywhere else. We don't need to. And at that time, we were going back and forth between here in Minnesota, and and Pastor Glenn is funny because when he needs you, he always wants to know where you're at, where you're from, and how come you don't stay here. He's always asking you why you got to go back. And I thought that was always kind of funny. And but we ended up moving down here and permanently in 2005, and we've been a part of this church ever since then, or before that. But a lot of good things have happened here, and there's a lot of things to be proud of. And we've had a lot of conversations, you and I, over the years, and I really appreciate that. And you've been a strong supporter of my family, and you helped my mom make her last walk to heaven, and by visiting at the house, and that was very, very important. And I want to thank you for that.
Can I go?
Yes.
Hello, my name is Gabby.
Hi, Gabby.
Hi, Kim. Thank you all for coming to celebrate Pastor Glenn and her family and all that. Pastor Glenn has been a really big inspiration in my life. As you know, I'm pretty involved in this church, and I wouldn't be if it wasn't for Pastor Glenn. Because all you guys tell the story. Can you guys hear me good? Is that okay? Okay.
Yes.
All you guys tell the story of like, oh, you walk in and Pastor Glenn's like, hey, what do you do? What's your name? Where are you from? So my story's been a little bit different. That's how I guess I began, but for the first 5 times, Pastor never remembered my name. I don't know if that's just normal or whatever, but I just want to thank Pastor Glenn for all that he's done. For all of you, obviously, we're all here supporting him. We're happy he's here. Glad to see all your guys' faces, but yeah, Pastor Glenn has been an inspiration in my life, and I don't know, I was like, I'm not going to talk, but then you asked, does anyone else want to talk? And I'm like, okay. I told God, I'm like, okay, God, if he says these exact words, I'm going to speak. And he did. And I'm like, I got to speak now. So I guess that's a God sent. But yeah, I just want to thank Pastor Glenn because I was crying too. I don't cry, and I've been crying because Wendy's crying. Guys, this is a celebration. Sorry, okay. I'm going to stop talking now.
Thank you, Gina.
I thought it was Rachel.
Was that what he was calling you? Oh, okay. All right. Anybody else? Yeah. Love this. You okay for a time?
I'm good.
You said anything? Okay. Do you need anybody for communion tonight? Readers or anything?
Probably.
Okay. Let me do the work on that one. All right.
I just want to say thank you. A few years ago, we had just started coming to the church for Stillbirds, and I doubt that Pastor Glenn really knew who we were. But we were in a situation where our grandson had just been to Afghanistan, got back, was at his base, and even he didn't have PTSD or anything, but he's going through a very tough time. And so anyway, I walked into Pastor Glenn's office and I told him a little bit about the story. And he said, "Willie, give him a phone call and just chat with him a little bit. You could help him out." Well, he did it without any qualification. This is a lot of you talk about how he cares. He does care. And Pastor, for your information, he's now in year 8 of his deployment. He's a staff sergeant and moving on very well. You did a wonderful job of it. Thank you.
All right, there's someone back here. There we go. Here you are.
Hi, my name is Ethel. I used to go to the Saturday night services. I just want to thank Pastor Glen for everything he has done for our family. He was with me when my husband passed away. He was at the hospital with us when my grandson, 6-day-old grandson, left this world to join God. He's been with me through my illnesses, and I can always count on him. And the only problem I have with him is that he's a Viking fan and not a
Thanks. If there's no, all right. I was going to say, I was just about to bring out the honeydew list. You know you have one, don't you? He's got one.
My wife and I have been married just a little over 2 years. And when we were looking for a home for a church to go to, we looked at several of them. And we found that when we walked in here, that this was the place that we needed to be. We felt so comfortable here. And Glen and I have had several conversations together. He's helped me a lot. And he's the only guy who get me up at 6:30 in the morning for church on a Thursday, of all days. But he did it, and I thank you for that. And I thank you for bringing me back to the church.
Yep. Am I not seeing it? You're pointing and I don't. Thank you. All right. Wow. Such a tribute. Really nice words, everybody. And I know sometimes it's not easy to share in front of a group, and it's really nice. Thank you so much. And it was great to hear some of those great stories. Thank you, everybody. I gotta get Glen's list going here. Come on now. We gotta get your honeydew list, Glen. So, now that you're retired, I put together a list for you. So, let's get this out here. All right. So, this is your list now. This is your checklist. It's a calendar, ladies and gentlemen. There's a calendar, and there's all kinds of appointments on the calendar for Glen. For example, there's a honeydew list. These are classes at Home Depot. So we went in and looked at how many classes they have at Home Depot. There's a trim bush class that begins on February 2nd that you're signed up for, so trimming bushes. There's also, did I skip one? Because I know I signed you up for the faucet one. There's a change the faucet in the bathroom and clean the bathroom. So that's part of a class that we signed you up for in January. We also have, let's see, December 5th, that's coming up. December 5th, how to paint the ceiling and the whole garage. So you're in for a class there. And after Glen succeeds and does all these classes, way at the bottom is the best part of it all, ladies and gentlemen. He gets an award, the Best Learning Student Award, from Lee Stadler. Only when you complete all this do you get that certificate of completion. All right? So I'm going to take your list. Ooh, it looks like presents. Did I miss Santa? Who brought those up here? I didn't even see that. Is that you, Wendy? What do we got here, Wendy? What's that?
All jobs that he needs.
Oh, okay. All right. Pastor Glenn, I'd like to give you some presents here right now. Go ahead and open them up. Let's see.
Stand up.
Let's see. We got a shirt, a red shirt.
Get up here.
All right.
What's it say?
I am of the opinion, ... Retirement is awesome. They might have thought, right, there's a new wardrobe in this here for you. Glen, a Walmart greeter. That's great. Here we are. Who just said that? I was thinking the exact same thing about, I was like, he would be a really good Walmart greeter. Or a good helper in the classroom. A good helper in the classroom that I might need.
Yes, oh yes, look at this.
Let's see. It says Glen, and then it says Complete Marine.
There we are. We're hiring boat washers.
What is it?
Boat washer. We're hiring boat washers.
Boat washer. So all these jobs that he's going to take on, he's got the official uniform now. Why, you know, we look out for you, Glenn.
Yeah.
We don't want you to get bored.
I see that.
We don't want him to get bored.
Oh yeah, this is
Glenn, the Uber driver. I would totally feel safe getting in an Uber with you.
Oh, I don't know about
Yes, I would. I would.
shirts.
All right, that one says your girlfriend, oops, and then there's an X through it, likes it, wife. The amazing Greek chili dog. Oh, so you can work like at a fast food place. There you go.
Do that.
We all know that Glenn wants to do some golfing too, so I know the congregation costs a lot of money. So we put it together, had a nice fun, got you some nice golf clubs. Golf clubs to you, sir. You're welcome.
That's about all I need.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, what we'd like to do is serve dessert, and then we've got one more thing after that. So please feel free to mingle, get up, walk around, stretch, do the chicken dance, anything you'd like, and dessert will be served. Thank you. All right. Well, we probably present your cake for you, right over here. Glenn, they told me that in all those bags, Glenn, we had those shirts. They all of them came with complete job applications in them.
Oh.
So the Uber one's in there, the Walmart one's in there, the boating one's in there. So I'm going to leave these bags, and the application is there for you. All right? Ladies and gentlemen, what an honor. We have up next Glenn's daughter, Sarah, and she wanted to perform a song. So, ladies and gentlemen, Sarah.
Something that my dad has talked about as he's thought about retirement is his call, not as a pastor, but as a child of God. It's a call that's on each of our lives, and as he transitions from ordained ministry to retirement, this is still a call that is in your life. And so I share this song as we think about that call.
I need you to remove your hat, please. Yeah, there's a lot of fun gifts. There's a lot of gay gifts going around. Some you may use, some you may not. Applications are included. But we have something from the congregation. Right here. Thank you very much. But I want to make sure we are on target with this. So you are going to be the very first person to experience my invention. And I want to make sure that we're on the right wavelength. So, this, Glen, right here before us, this is called the Cranium Response Apparatus Predictor, or CRAP for short. So, I would like to put this on your head. I have no idea if you're going to feel a shock. I don't exactly know what this does, but when I tested it on my cat, everything seemed to go okay. So, let me put the Cranium Response Apparatus Predictor. Okay. Now, I want you, oh, sorry about that. I want you to start thinking hard about what you would truly like. All right, so I'm gonna put this on. Let's see. Does that hurt?
Oh, that's fine.
Okay, are you thinking?
I am right
Okay,
now.
go think. Okay. Keep thinking. Keep thinking hard. Are you okay? It's not shocking or anything, is it?
No.
Okay.
Handling it.
Oh, you're still thinking? Okay.
Yeah.
And okay, let's hope this works, because I put a lot of time in this crap. Let's see. Pastor Glen, from your waves of thought directly to this box is exactly what you're thinking, according to my crap. There you go, sir. Yes?
Oh my. Oh. Oh.
Now you can retire.
It says blessings on your retirement. Jesus gave you the gift of time and you used it to work hard and to honor Him with your talents. Now Jesus has new plans in store. Pastor Glen, may you find fulfilling ways to let your light shine. Can you imagine a life of free weekends? Now you have them. Enjoy every one. God's blessing, spirit of hope. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. At a Home Depot.
Black and Decker?
Did the cranium response apparatus predictor predict it? Yes! Ladies and gentlemen, we did well with that. There's some money in there, and I believe there's an iPhone there. Oh.
No phone.
Oh. But, money to get that.
That's right.
So we're hoping that's what you're thinking. And ladies and gentlemen, too, we have, there's more desserts, of course. We had cut the cake. Make sure you get some of that. Glenn, did you have any comments, closing remarks?
You got 5 minutes.
Ashley has 2. And I'm going to sit here while you're talking, count them. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi.
That was good.
I guess in some ways I wish you could all have the gift that I feel like I have today. For most of my life, I have been able to do what I want to do. And I'm not saying that obviously there's been times when things were a little tougher and that kind of thing. But you know, I've had the pleasure of just sitting with you when you have gone through really tough times. In some cases, I have buried your loved ones. In other cases, I've been able to baptize your beautiful, beautiful children. And I've had the luxury, and I don't know how many people get to do this, but somehow you allow me to get my touch fix, you know. You've allowed me to be kind of like a father, a friend, a mentor, and you've allowed me into your lives in a way that I never dreamed. I don't know, when I started out, you know, it's great. People like Ruth, I have people from my second parish here. We have people from my third parish here. What a gift. Just know that I love you all. I believe I have been so blessed, and I continue to pray for all of you that again, you can feel the joy and the love that I feel in your lives, and that you will continue to pass the word that God loves you so much, and enjoy that love. Enjoy it to the point where it becomes so overwhelming that you can't help but share it. So thank you for so all of us. Thank you.
In all my years of performing, I never got a standing ovation. What was that like? Was it nice? Someday, Glenn.
Someday.
Pray for me. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming out here and being a part of this. And just your stories and the love that fills the room. Those of you who traveled, you said there's people from other parishes here. Thank you for your travel and safe travels back to everybody. Enjoy the weekend, everybody. Enjoy each other. Thank you so much.